you don't have to fear that the only artist who has ever been able to, make a big name is, Michelangelo painting a church, So that you as a young person and you have this, drive for art, there are many people you can look up to or into, or, that you can see that they have made it now in these current times without having not much of a background in anything artistic. So number one, I think that's really wonderful. Number two, I think people are born to be an artist.
Right.
You don't have to have anybody tell you if you are or if you're not. Right. You just are. And that's something that nobody can take away from you. And that's something you can't even take away from yourself. If you don't creatively express yourself, part of you dies.
Right.
And that's why people become unhappy and they become depressed, and then they fall into patterns like abusing substances and stuff like that, because they just feel like they can't really express what they're born to do, their mission. I think that it's a mission. As an artist, you have such a huge mission to really go for it and have the courage to quit your job and to go out there and make your dreams come true. You have to do that. Otherwise, you're letting the world miss out on your incredible talent. I get to do a little bit what you do, where I get to meet people from all walks of life doing the art, not always having it easy, obviously. And, I always thank them so much for having the courage to stand up and live their dream. Right. And I know it's not always easy, but it's so worth it. Because, I go to Art Basel, or I go to museums, or I go to small galleries, or I go to see a theater play, and I get so touched by people. And the things that touch me the most is when artists can just be themselves without worrying about what others think.
Right.
That's when the true beauty and the gem of your soul really starts to shine. And I think that's the beauty, right? That's why we go to theater. That's why we go to art galleries. That's why we go to Art Basel. We want to be inspired, right? We want to be taken out of our little small worlds and given a fictional idea of how our life could be. And then giving us hope that we can accomplish really anything if we put our minds to it.
Yes, and it's very motivating, and I'm glad you said that, because, the most important thing that we always get preached, especially when we're young, is to always, love self. And people just think that, loving yourself is just, I just love myself, but it's more than that. It's also about, like, if you have a passion or a dream about something, about anything that you want to do, no matter what people say, you should as a person should just attack that. Like you just said that your parents gave you 3 months to stay in America, and you were just like, you know what, I love you guys, but I'm not going home. I want to chase my dream, and that's a big sacrifice. But look, at the end of the day, look at you, like you're doing so much for yourself, So it's something that, like people like yourself, like, it's just motivating. It's inspiring. It's inspiring to see, the journey that you had before, and even the journey that you're gonna have, in the future. So it's just inspiring.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that the number one thing to, also keep in mind is, like, just don't, you are not allowed to compare yourself to anybody ever. I think that is deadly, because only you can do what you do. Only you can do what you do. And then, everybody's journey is different. And the good part and the tricky part is you can't go to school, walk out of school, and just get it 8 to 5, and you have a career and you make good money. With art, it's just, you just never know how it's going to happen. But I'm a real true believer that as long as you keep producing work that inspires you, it's inevitable that success is going to happen, because it's just a byproduct of you doing what you love. Right.
You're right about that. So let's talk about the Rays of Art.
Yes.
So what is that about? in particular, like the Rays of Art?
So, Rays of Art started because I do express myself in different ways, artistically and creatively. That's why it's called Rays of Art. So different rays, you know. I still do theater, and I have this huge passion and love for it. And I think if that's part of me, the performer, I cannot, you know, put aside, and I have to express myself that way, which I'm actively doing and rehearsing for a play at the moment. And then I also do paintings, which I have been lucky enough to, you know, exhibit, as I told you, in Miami, here in LA, and also in Europe and in England, which was a lot of fun. And then I also do sculptures, which, you know, I have been able to exhibit or co-exhibit as well, and art installations. So all these different avenues have been, you know, really the key point for me to, one, creatively express myself, and two, just also find my own voice, find my own, you know, what do I really want to put out there into the world? What do I stand for? What do I see? How do I express my inner vision, you know, on a canvas or as a sculpture or something like that? And, you know, I'm also self-taught, so a lot of these things that I do are you know, just kind of like because I just wanted to experiment with it. And I also do photography, so I wanted to experiment with photography, and I just started, you know, I created this sculpture, this oversized sugar skull, and then I put it on naked bodies, and I took pictures in front of murals and kind of interesting sceneries, and then printed it and painted over it, and so kind of these multiple 3D kind of multimedia art pieces. And so that's why Rays of Art. It's just in multiple avenues of me finding my voice and expressing myself, and really not stopping at anything. Like, if I want to, you know, go out and do something completely different that I've never done before, I won't hold myself back, that's for sure. Because I feel like, you know, I'm afraid because I didn't have enough training in it, or because I didn't go to university for arts or stuff like that. I just kind of do where my heart takes me and tells me.
Wow, so that's what's up. That's like, I love your story behind the brand, and that's something like, have you like, I guess, like pushed the brand to a point where you're trying to make it like as like a, what I'm trying to say, like a movement, as far as like bringing other artists or just creatives?
Are you saying a movie? Did I
No, I'm saying like a movement, like the brain.
Oh, a movement, yes. So Rays of Art is my own personal way, different ways of expressing myself. As I said, performing arts, visual arts, I also do jewelry and make accessories and stuff like that. So that's my own personal brand, Rays of Art. Where I incorporate other artists is with a company that I named Create, and it's spelled as CRE with a number 8. And that's where I get to do pop-up galleries around the world, where I get to invite other artists. So I have a group exhibits where I co-exhibit with other wonderful international artists from all over. And I was able to do that here in LA a few times and in Zurich as well.
Wow, so are you looking to expand it, like, I guess, down here in Miami or New York or anywhere?
Absolutely, yes. So we have a new show coming up in spring, which is going to be in Zurich. And then we have LA coming up one more time, and then definitely Miami's on our list. When exactly, we have not decided yet. We are still looking into venues, but absolutely Miami's on our list for sure. Yes.
Well, let me know so I can come out and support, because I love that. I love being surrounded by artists and creatives. Like, you know, me as a DJ, you know, the main thing I always tell artists was that make sure when you go to the studio, make sure that I'm there, because I love to see the progress of a song. You know, like for them to ask me about my opinion about, you know, the whole process of the song and stuff like that. I just love, you know, even with I know when I used to not intern, but when I used to work for youth after school program. One of the kids was showing me how like they create like video games and stuff like on the mobile, and I'm like, I'm there. Like I just love seeing like people just creating like stuff, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, especially with this new technology too. I mean, it's you can make your own movie on an iPhone or any Android phone. It's incredible. I mean, really, at this point there's no reason that anything should stop you except for yourself.
Right. Yeah. That's,
really.
Nah, that's the truth, because even with an iPhone, an iPad, like you could use that to videotape, different YouTube videos or like podcast episodes and stuff. Something that I'm trying to get into even more. And it's just amazing. And like the MacBook and like all these different computers is just so powerful to edit videos and stuff like that. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So I have two more questions before we close out the podcast.
Sure.
The second to last questions is I guess give me like your top 5 moments so far as an artist. Like your
any top 5 moments?
You don't have to be in order.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds so silly, but I mean, you get awards and you get when you sell your paintings and stuff like that. They're really wonderful. But I have to say, the most rewarding part of being an artist is making something that you can sit back and be proud of, where you look at it and be like, wow, this really represents me. I think those are kind of like the golden moments where maybe one night you paint all night and you go to bed at 6 a.m. and you barely wake up at 10 or 9, and you go back and you look at it and you're like, oh, wow, that was really fun. That was really fun. But, I have been very fortunate to, star in a movie, and I won a Best Supporting Actress role part, and I have been able to go to Miami Art Basel, which is really wonderful for an artist to participate in. Yeah, and I have been able to exhibit in different cities, which is, it gets you to travel, number one, which I think is always for an artist so important. Like, please, 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 get any chance you have, just travel, because it's the only way for you to open your horizon and expand your heart and really see what's out there, because we get such a limited view when we stay in our comfort zone, that sometimes just breaking out and seeing other cultures and other, even weather and architecture, that we get really inspired and just kind of like opens up a whole new avenue.
Yes, it is, because I like when I went to LA last year, even before that, like my wife and them, they used to tell me like it's encouraging to travel a lot, because when you come back, you get like I guess like new ideas or new motivation to do stuff. So yeah, like traveling is something that's needed for everyone. Like, like when I was in LA for just the 2 days, I was just like, I wish I was there for a week, because I want to see everything in LA, like just the history of LA, just the different sections of LA, because like even when, like I said about Miami, like when people come down to Miami that I know, I want them to show them every section of Miami, every section of Broward and Palm Beach, because it's all different, so yeah. And for the last question is, where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now?
Where do I see myself?
Yeah, 5 to 10 years from now.
5 to 10 years from now, I definitely see my whole brand of Create just like having expanded to, unlimited. I want to take it to every major city in the world and be able to co-exhibit with all the incredibly amazing artists that exist out there. And if you are one of them listening in right now, please DM me, shoot me an email that you know that you want to be part of it, and I'll be more than happy to, incorporate you any way I can. Also, I do want to make more movies.